G'day guys, Jake here with Journey Van Builds. At the moment, I'm 5 months into renting my camper van out on Camplify, and before I began, I was really quite nervous about the whole process with, how it was going to work with insurance, if my van was going to get damaged, and if it would even work, if it would be able to generate any income really. So I'm going to share with you my experience so far 5 months in. To get straight to the point, is Camplify legit? Yes, it absolutely is. And it appears that it could be quite a powerful tool moving forward. So I'm happy to share that and all the possibilities that are out there for the DIY van builders. Jumping straight into some results, at this point, Camplify have deposited $2,047 into my bank account from van rentals. Now that's only van rentals that have happened until this date. So that I've sent the van out and it's come back. So that's not including any future bookings that are on the calendar. So $2,000 is, pretty exciting in 5 months, especially considering that it was a really slow start to begin with, which I'll get into shortly. But first of all, I guess one of the most important things to cover is the memberships that are on offer. So of course, I've gone for the premium membership, which costs me around $150 a month. That varies quite a bit, I'm quite sure, depending on how much you want to insure your van for. So the $150 membership I'm on gets you full comprehensive insurance while the van is out on hire, as well as for your own personal use, which is kind of a huge plus. I need to kind of look into that a little bit more, but that could be absolutely massive given how difficult it is to insure camper vans at this point with standard car insurance companies. But the $150, that also gets you a reduced commission that Camplify take from your listing. So every time a booking is made, I think on a standard booking or without the premium membership, they take 15 or maybe 20%. I don't even know, to be honest. With the premium membership, they only take 8% of the commission. And there's no restriction on how many days in the year you can rent your van out. Whereas for lower memberships, it's limited. I think most of them are 40 days in the year. But yeah, if like myself, you really want to make some money out of this, then the premium membership to this point appears really quite worth it. So while $2,000 is exciting at this point, like I said, it was a really slow start. So I had 2 or 3 months even with absolutely nothing. I was really lucky that I had a friend in New Zealand who was using Camplify with a lot of success over there. So that kind of kept me motivated, but it was pretty tough those first few months just getting absolutely nothing. So I spent that time kind of tweaking my profile to try and optimize things to entice that first booking in, playing with my photos to really show off the van a little bit better, using, updating my description, trying to optimize that, and also lowering my price quite a bit as well, at least at the first stages, because I knew I kind of just wanted to entice that first booking to get a first good review. And, I was hopeful that the ball would just start rolling from there, which it did. I did get my first booking, which was really excited. It was actually a 2-week booking, which was absolutely huge. And like I kind of thought, I think that once I accepted that booking, it kind of sent the algorithm on Camplify a signal like, okay, this hirer, this van owner is legit. They've responded to messages quickly. They've accepted this booking. So they're ready to sort of be pushed a little bit more. That's just my assumption because quite quickly after that, I had 2 more bookings that were more spontaneous back to back. So straight away I booked out the next weekend and then the weekend after that. Going from 3 months with absolutely nothing to having the van out on rental for these 2 weekends in a row meant that Camplify deposited, I think it was like $250 and then $350 into my account. It wasn't a crazy amount of money, of course, but it was enough to give me the bug. So it is really exciting. With that being said, as I've just covered with the premium memberships, because it did take a few months for the first bookings to come through, those first few weekends really just covered the cost of that premium membership that I was paying every month anyway, while no bookings were coming in. So I wasn't really in the green yet, but it was certainly a lot more promising and, worth pushing even further. Now, other than that $150 a month, having your van on Camplify certainly isn't free. It did take me a few days of sort of organizing the van, giving it a good deep clean, making sure all the cookware and the camping gear was all here and ready to go, that somebody could take this van away and it would be livable for however long they want to rent it for. And probably the even bigger cost than that is the emotional toll that it takes on you. For a lot of people, certainly myself included, your camper van is your pride and joy. I absolutely love my camper van. I've lived in it for 2 years. It's kind of been the foundation of everything that I've built with my YouTube channel and socials and everything as well. So it was quite surreal to let that camper van go and kind of have to just release control of the situation and hope that these people I was renting it out to were going to give it the care and love that I gave the van as well. Luckily for me, I had the first 2 hires that were absolutely lovely people. They were nice couples just going for a little weekend away. And that really helped me become a lot more comfortable with the process, because the first time it was quite difficult actually to click the accept button, just to accept a booking. That was kind of the final moment where it's like, okay, I'm really gonna give my van, my baby, away to somebody else. So it was really difficult, but yeah, like I said, thankfully the first few hires were great, which gave me a lot more comfort moving forward with accepting bookings. Now, with that being said, there are some learning experiences as well. So after about 4 months of hiring my van out, I had what I'm now referring to as my learning experience. A booking that just went absolutely wrong in most ways that it can go wrong. So everything you worry about with just having this uncomfortable feeling right off the bat with the hire, having, you know, the van absolutely trashed and having to clean everything, having things get broken, having things not returned with the van that you sent the van out with, just an absolute nightmare situation. And to be completely fair, it wasn't necessarily this couple's fault, other than maybe they just didn't quite look after things quite the way I would have. But there were a few things that I did wrong as well, which I was certainly able to learn from that experience. For example, I accepted a booking with dogs. Now, I maybe got a little bit greedy. I thought to myself, I'll accept one booking with dogs, see how it goes. It's like a last minute booking it ended up being 10 days. So it was a heap of money, and I thought I'll just give it a try. I was told the dogs weren't going to sleep inside the van. They'll just be in the van for the trip up, and then they'll be outside all the time. The reality, I think, was a little bit different. But because I accepted the booking with the dogs, I couldn't really complain about dog hair being in the van, essentially. So my number one tip is do not accept animals in your van as much as you would love to, and you would love to attract more hires. It just seriously isn't worth the hassle with the hair, the smell, and the damage as well that dogs unfortunately tend to just generate in the van. Now, there were positives to come from this nightmare booking. Like, I became a lot more familiar with the back end of Camplify and contacting them after the fact, you know, how to deal with tolls, animals, just all the different things that I learned. And the really cool thing was it was paid learning. So that booking ended up bringing in, I think, like just over $800, something like that. So as frustrating as it was, and it took me a couple of days to really clean the van out. I gave it a steam clean, washed everything to get rid of the dog smell. Yeah, it was, I guess, paid learning, because that income was still there. And moving forward, I won't make those mistakes again. So you take the good with the bad, I guess. So the big question that still remains is, what happens when something really goes wrong? So luckily, I haven't had the van stolen, or I hasn't been in any major accidents at this point, but I have had to deal with the Camplify insurance, because there was one incident where a windscreen received a number of chips, and I just had to replace a windscreen. Now, I don't want you to think like, man, stuff is like really going wrong all the time, because I've only been doing this 5 months and I've had a couple of bad experiences. Essentially, this windscreen replacement happened because of a second van, which a friend of mine used Camplify to get that van taken for them from Western Australia back over to me in Brisbane. So this van hire was for a month and a half, all through the outback with, you know, kilometers and kilometers of driving. So a couple of stones flicked up and hit the windscreen. So it's not necessarily your average experience you would expect renting the van out, but it's what's happened in this case. So what it's meant is I did deal with the Camplify insurance team to make a claim to replace that windscreen. I just got a quote from O'Brien's, which is one of the largest windscreen replacement companies in Australia. Sent that off to Camplify. They replied, I think, the next day and approved it and said, yep, we'll transfer you the money for that in the next cycle of payments when I would normally get paid by Camplify, which is on Tuesdays. that money's come through now, and the window's just going to get replaced. I'll send them confirmation or proof of the invoice, and then that's done. So like I said, it's quite a small, I guess, ding in comparison to what can go wrong, but at this point it was incredibly seamless and easy, so it kind of gives me a little bit of confidence moving forward. So I guess you could say I've had some good experiences, I've had some bad experiences. At this point, I've got $2,000 in future bookings already, so bookings that are confirmed and the deposit's been paid on my calendar. And those go out to about the next 4 or 5 months where bookings have been made. And I'm expecting, a few more spontaneous weekend trips to be booked in that period as well. So that's really exciting for this van. It's $4,000 in the first 6 months of a complete rookie, not really knowing what he's doing. With that being said, I've now got a second van listed on Camplify as well, which is doing even better. That's actually this van that I'm in, to be honest. My first van is out on hire right now. So this is my second van, which is doing better. So when I include both of the vans together, the total earnings, which is including what I've been paid and what's on the calendar coming up, equals $12,342. So that's obviously starting to become some serious money. Now, I know it's not really relevant in most people's cases to have 2 vans on there. It's just something that I've been really lucky in my position, given that I'm building these vans and making the DIY videos already, that Camplify has really been able to unlock this kind of extra source of income, which has just been absolutely huge for me. And it's probably going to be the difference between, having to do these videos part-time and really allowing me to pursue this full-time and continue making content to help DIY van builders and grow this whole online space that I've just loved doing so much. It doesn't really make sense for me to be encouraging people to sign up and use Camplify and put their vans up there, creating more competition for myself. But I guess, yeah, it's just been such a great experience for me, and really I'm doing this for the DIY van builders that I know can have a great experience with this as well, hopefully. So while the process takes a bit of time and effort to start up and to get some traction, once you do get your first few bookings, it really does feel like free money is coming in. It's super exciting, and you can actually list your van for free as well. Like I said, you get certain benefits by having the paid membership. But you can go through the whole process without paying anything. So if you're interested, there's really no harm in just signing it up. It's actually scarily easy to sign up as well. They don't ask you for much, which was a little bit concerning for me at first. But since then, the whole back end and things is actually really well done. The website all just works really, really well. It's really quite intuitive. So yeah, anyway, you can go through the process of signing up if you want to. Just really to get a feel for it and see if you're comfortable. So if you've got a van, I definitely recommend giving it a go. And if you're building a van right now, or you're interested in more about how my Camplify journey has gone and how I've managed to make this work, then head to the channel and check out some more videos. You'd be doing me a great favor supporting the channel. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.